What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's Josh from KeepItTechie, and today, is my 14th Tech Talk. You guys know I've been doing this, every weekend. I try to bring on a guest that's been working in the IT field and just try to get his perspective on actually how people can get into the field, if they're trying to. And so today's special guest, I have Dion Lightfoot. Thank you for being here, Dion. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? It's Dewan
I'm
Lightfoot in the
sorry,
building.
man.
How you good, brother? You good?
Yeah,
You good? What's up, everybody?
yeah, man. I'm glad to have him here. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna, kind of get through and talk this tech talk. You know what I'm saying? So, um, first thing I like to do is allow you to, introduce yourself as well as kind of really give a background and how you got into the IT field as well.
Cool. So, Dewan Lightfoot, been in IT for about 20 years now. I started out in the military and the Air Force doing tech support, worked my way up to doing system administration, network administration. After the Air Force, I spent like 6 years on the help desk. Skills fell way behind. Had a rough time finding jobs to advance off the help desk, and it was a struggle. Real grind. I enjoyed what I was doing. Working in the call center is kind of like working in being in high school. You know what I mean? So, being in my 20s and doing that job, I could have did that forever, but thankfully, the company downsized, and I was forced to make a transition. Before I fell too far behind in my skills, and so once that happened, I started focusing on certifications, and then through certifications, that's when my career kind of took a change for the better. So I'm currently doing network engineering, and I enjoy what I do. Not to go too deep in it and too long, but that's the gist of it.
Okay, cool. So,
Yeah.
let me ask you this then. Let's just get into the meat of it. Like, if someone is
Yes, sir.
trying to get into the IT field, like, where do you think they should start? Based on like your experience and what you've seen. I know you do a lot of that on your channel, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying. I just want to get that out here.
Yeah. So, man, in IT right now, there's several fields that you can get into. Let's say you want to get in IT security. Well, the best place to start is the Security Plus, the CompTIA Security Plus. Start there. That's like the foundational cert for security, whether you're DoD or public sector. Having that Security Plus is your foundational entry point. And then if you just want to get into standard IT, the A plus, not to toot CompTIA's horn, but those two certifications have been around for a long time, especially the A plus that's been around since the 90s.
Hmm.
And this cert basically identifies that you have hardware and software knowledge to be able to walk into the help desk and get the job done, or be coachable to be able to get the job done. Now, if you want to get in networking, that's going to be the CCNA, the Cisco Certified Network Associate certification. That certification right there is the foundational when it comes to being an entry level network engineer, mid level engineer, and it's the go to. That's the certification that kind of really changed my career for the better. So,
That's
and
what's
then
up.
if you want to get in coding, yeah, if you really want to get in coding, I highly recommend creating a repository and learning how to code, whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's Pluralsight, whether it's any resources that's out there. Learning how to code, build a repository, get into some open source projects, and networking. And honestly, networking on LinkedIn, networking on Twitter with people that's already in the field is going to help you tremendously. I mean, that's what helped me more than probably certifications. Is just starting my YouTube channel, putting myself out there, helping people, and building my relationships. It's been everything.
Oh yeah,
Shout out to
definitely.
the Live Everyday community.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up, the whole open source thing because That's one thing I try to push to people, that GitHub is a good resource. I don't hear a lot of people say that, but it's
Yeah.
and it's a great resource to learn how to actually code and understand how people take code and put it into, or build applications that can, create things. And so that's a great way to add something to your resume by assisting with a lot of those open source projects that are out there. So, but sorry, man, I'm about to run. I love talking tech,
No.
but and it's about you, man. I'm trying to, get you out there. So let me ask you the next thing. How do you keep your technical skills current?
Man, it's
I know you kind of touched on it,
yeah. So let's be honest. When you get into the field, like the most important thing is learning your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once you're in it, once you start advancing your career, you're still focused on trying to build your skills and stay relevant in your job and do the best job that you can do. But then you don't want to fall behind on what's going on in the area of information technology. So once you get in the field, what I recommend is, okay, if you're going to be a network engineer, now you need to follow people that's in network engineering. You need to follow those companies that produce technologies in the realm of the area technology that you're in. So that would be Cisco and other vendors like that. And just watching those news alerts, watching their releases, watching their different vendor functions to where they do product releases and staying relevant that way.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing I do on Twitter as well. I follow a lot of the because all these companies have different, Twitter accounts where they're releasing, information about what's coming next and all that stuff. So I definitely agree with you on that. Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you this though, and just look at me as somebody that's, just trying to get into IT, don't have no experience. What role do you think someone should take? Should they try to go the degree route or the certification route, or try to go towards both of them? What?
Man, so if we're going to be honest, degrees cost a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
unless you're getting a scholarship or your company's paying for it, they're too expensive. To be honest with you, um, not saying they're not worth it, but the cost, the ROI on going to college isn't really good compared to focusing on certifications and coding every day and building out your repository on GitHub and networking in the industry. So, to be honest with you, I would go the certification route. Um, and then once I get in a company, then I will focus on using their tuition reimbursement to get my college degree. Because what you learn in college is going to help you tremendously when it comes to business and interpersonal relationships. You know what I mean? So you're going to teach those, it's going to help you with those soft skills and then also those business skills to be able to help you advance in your career. So
Exactly. Now, one thing, my channel is like mainly a Linux channel. What are your thoughts on learning Linux, and how important do you think it is understanding Linux in the different fields or the different IT fields?
yeah, I think Linux is awesome. I think Linux is the backbone of many of the applications that are ran on the internet, in the
Mm-hmm.
cloud, in the data center, and just in production environments in general. I think it's important. Now, as a network engineer, there's many tools that you can utilize by leveraging Linux. Like Nmap,
Mm-hmm.
Netcat, TCP dumps. All of those things can really help you do your job better. But there also are Windows resources that can help you do your job as well. So when it comes to Linux, I think unless you are directly utilizing it in your job, I think just understanding it
Mm-hmm.
is useful. But if you're trying to get into like a cloud position, a security position, or some type of database position, knowing Linux is a must.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I definitely agree, because what they say, like 70% of the web servers on or servers that are connected to the internet, that manage like websites and all that stuff were Linux based. So it is important to understand,
for
especially
sure.
going in the cloud, like you said.
Yep.
So, yep. Um, Now let's see. So programming languages. I know we kind of moving fast or whatever. I'm gonna just kind of get through it, and then I'm gonna try to ask questions at the end, but or get people to ask questions at the end. But what are some programming languages that you kind of recommend or that people should learn in your opinion?
I've tried a lot of programming languages throughout my career. Um, for me, Python was the easiest and the most efficient one,
Hmm.
and it's also like the most popular one right now. So I would say start with Python, but there are others like JavaScript is useful. Ruby can be useful depending on the environment. Um, C sharp.
Hmm.
Um, there's a bunch of. It depends on what you want to do. Like if you want to be a gamer, what is it? C sharp, C plus plus. And understanding that if you want to do websites, JavaScript, PHP,
Hmm.
those are good languages to learn. But for like networking, for me, Python is the one.
Okay.
Understanding Python is the way to go.
Yeah, and that goes into the automation question I was going to ask later, because Python, I know in Java, is used in automation. Now, have you had to implement certain things like that within your job? I don't know how much you can speak about your job, and because with
Yeah.
clearances and all that stuff. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. So like 50% of my job was to automate. I was writing code pretty much 3 days a week at least, by leveraging Python, different APIs, and different tools that are out there on the internet. And as a network engineer, you got to think a lot of the tasks that we perform are redundant tasks, whether it be bringing up circuits, whether it be bouncing BGP, whether it be bouncing ports. Depending on what we do, doing something in ACI, a lot of the tasks that we do daily can be automated. And so my job pretty much is to find those tasks and automate them.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something that's being pushed heavy in my position as well. I'm a
Right.
database administrator, and certain tasks they basically took on that agile framework. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but uh,
Yeah.
that I
DevOps.
guess yeah, the DevOps, well,
Yeah.
so push automation to pretty much a lot of redundant tasks. So I definitely.
Yeah. Some people think that, when we talk about automation is going to eliminate jobs. And that is sort of true. And it is true. But it's also going to create new jobs. When
Hmm.
you start talking about DevOps and Agile, now you have to have people that understand DevOps and Agile,
Yep.
to be able to manage those pipelines. And then you have to have people that know how to write the code, maintain the code, and then maintain the hardware and production environments that the code is written to, for configuration management or for deployments. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I think the dynamics of IT will evolve just like it's done in the phone system, just like it's done on the server side. It'll evolve, but I don't think it'll be a bad thing.
Hmm. Yep, and that's crazy you say that, because I start seeing a lot of positions popping up for like Scrum masters, and people that actually run those DSUs and all that. So yeah,
Yep.
it's something that's coming to the field more and more. So now let me ask you this: since you was talking about GitHub, do you have any like open projects that you're working on and everything, or like anything on GitHub that you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So my GitHub is lab every day.
Hmm.
And I post things on there from time to time. I was working on like an ACL script that basically will manage your ACLs on your firewalls and your routers, and then monitor them for any that haven't been updated, or any hits haven't hit those ACLs in, let's say, 30 days, and then you can remove them from your firewall or from your router, as well as Nets. because gnats are another thing that constantly need to be managed. So removing any gnats that aren't being hit on the firewall and etc., or adding gnats that are needed. So, and those are just some basic things that network engineers do day to day, and there aren't many tools that are out there to help us manage those tasks efficiently.
Okay. Yeah, and so I keep hearing you say this, and just look at it like I don't know you, but what is this whole concept lab every day? Like what do you mean when you keep saying that?
Yeah. So lab every day is all about being consistent daily at working towards your goal. Whether your goal is being a coder, whether your goal is to be a network engineer or a system admin, system engineer, regardless of what your goal, even a rapper, you hit that lab every day and spit them bars. Or
Mhm.
if you want to do beats, you hit the lab every day and knock out them beats. You get what I'm saying? So it's all about just being consistent on that grind.
Yeah, that's a great concept because I use that term ever since I heard you say it. I use that term, a whole lot. Just basically, it applies to anything in the IT field. You know what I'm saying? You constantly have to learn because things are always changing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just it's something you
Hey,
got to do in the field. Go ahead though.
yeah. I want to shout out, the lab everyday community that's in the chat. I know we talk about it being a concept, but it's way more than a concept. It's a community, it's a family.
Hmm.
Like if you hop on Twitter, use the hashtag. There's so many people that are in that group that are may not even like me, but they support you being successful. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just a beautiful thing to have people from all over the world, come together and support you, especially when you're new to IT or you're having a bad day or you failed the certification exam. Regardless, this community, man, they have supported me like they have helped me like crazy. You know what I mean? And I think so many people from the community can say vouch for that for them and that because I've seen people just take off. It's a beautiful thing, man. God is good.
Hmm. Exactly. And let me ask you this: how, um, because I remember watching a video. I know this off the cuff, but um, I watched a video of yours a while back where you actually um, didn't pass one of the certifications that you were going for. Now, how did you deal with that? You know what I'm saying? And how did you motivate yourself to keep pushing forward? To take that test again and pass it eventually.
Man, I've been failing all my life. You know what I mean? Like I think there was a time, especially when I first started in IT, I took the A plus and I failed it and it knocked me off and I ended up passing it. But then I took the Network Plus before it expired. It was at one point CompTIA certifications, you could get them and they last you a lifetime. You wouldn't have to recertify. And
Hmm.
so I took the Network Plus right before that change happened and I failed it. And that actually like it really just had me discouraged. I didn't take another like certification exam for like 5 years. And so when I got into this boot camp had that I was in this class with, we all were like motivating each other to get, I guess, the Sec Plus, the MTA, the CCNA, and I forget there was one more. And we were just kind of just all motivating and encouraging each other. And I think from that experience, it just changed the way I look at failure. You know what I mean? Because I think failure is a part of your growth. Whenever you fail a certification exam, there's things that you didn't know. And with that, there comes acceptance. And so you go back, you regroup, and you try again and you learn the things that you didn't know and you build on the things that you did know. And then eventually you pass that exam. And then eventually you walk into an interview and be able to answer any questions that they ask you. You know what I mean? So it's all a process that's to help you grow, be sharper, and to be successful in this field.
Exactly, man. Yeah, that's it's good
Yeah.
information out there, man. Uh,
Yes, sir.
for everybody. But let me see. So let me ask you this other question. So how do you think further technological advances will impact your job. And we kind of hit on that as well, with
with
the
automation.
automation, and I just wanted to see if you had anything else you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I think what's really going to affect the job is the way people are approach learning.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was like this grueling process of finding out how to do something. But I think right now we're in a position in IT to where, man, so many people are creating blogs, so many people are creating YouTube channels, and there's so many different ways that people approach teaching. And so with that being said, before you only had like one go-to source to learn a topic, right? One or two go-to sources to learn Linux, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that may be some dry learning that somebody that doesn't resonate with you, doesn't explain it at the basic, easy, dumb it down for you to understand it. But now with so many different people teaching, just because this person over here don't teach it in a way you understand it, you hop on YouTube and you got all these different options of people that explain it in a way that resonates, that looks like you, that comes from where you come from, and speaks the language that you understand. I think it's a lot of opportunity for technology to push forward and for the culture to push forward.
Exactly. Hey, and I definitely agree with you. That's one of the main reasons I started my channel, because Linux. If you type in Linux, you won't see anybody that looks like me or whatever on
Facts.
YouTube. So I was like, this is something that I'm interested in. This is a hobby that I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Why not just make videos that kind of resonate with people, that come from where I've come, my background and all that stuff. That's why, I always wear the Saints hat to represent, let people know I'm from Louisiana, down south, and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's exactly why, I kind of created my channel, try to
And
bring some
salute to you,
diversity.
bro.
Appreciate it.
Salute to you for the work that you do, for having me on your channel, showing me love. Salute to you, man. I wish and pray nothing but success for you.
Oh
Like,
man, I definitely
if I
appreciate it,
can help
man.
you, let me know. If I can support you, let me know, man.
For sure, man. Hey, in the same, your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Anything
sir.
I could do, to help, just let me know. You know what I'm saying?
For
But
sure.
um let me see. I'm trying to think. It was something else I wanted to ask you. But let me just get to a couple people that may have asked questions. Let me look through the chat right fast and see. I seen something. Um Now, Cisco exams. Can you kind of explain the process of Cisco exams if people are trying to get into networking? Because I started in the networking field as well. I got my Network Plus, my CompTIA Network Plus, and I actually started out as working as a network administrator.
Right.
But I didn't take it any further because I kind of got pulled to the system side more. And I know that's what you do on a daily basis. So, um, anything? Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm listening. Um, yeah. So when it comes to like Cisco certification, I put a link in the chat for learning network.cisco. And if you're interested in the CCNA, CCNP, the requirements for a certification, that's your go-to website for all Cisco certifications. Um, in my opinion, they've
Hold on.
done wonders for my career.
Let me see. Hey, can you type something in the chat or whatever again? Well, hold on. I gotta make you a mod so you can post links. Let me go find you though. I think you said something
Okay.
earlier. Yeah, here we go. Uh, add moderator. So yeah, if you could post it again, it should be good now.
It'll work. Or if you just copy and paste it and you paste
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, because I can't even see it. But
I'll put it in this chat. I'll put it in this chat and you can
okay.
copy
All
it over
right.
there. There you go.
All right. Cool. Got it. All right. Yeah, so you guys check that out if you're interested in getting Cisco networking. That's a direction you probably need to go in order to get into it.
Yeah, that's your location for all of your Cisco certifications, whether it's the CCNA,
Mm,
CCNP, DevNet certifications. That's your go-to site for that. And they also have a great community for whichever certification you select. They
mm,
have a great community to where you can ask questions, and they help you along your journey. It's the go-to. So
cool, cool.
yeah,
Now, as far as the cloud go, um, how? Cause see, I've been away from networking so long. You know,
yeah.
I don't understand how the networking in the cloud works. Can you give people? Go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, I'm listening, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, can you give people, I don't know, an overview of how that actually works? If you have, time or whatever. I don't know. I'm just coming
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
cuff, trying to.
No, you good, man. You good. You good. Yeah. So when it comes to networking in the cloud, basically the cloud is just another data center that isn't on your premise. It's another data center that you support. So it has its own nuances, but at the end of the day, you're still building out VPNs, you're still building out networks, you're still supporting this infrastructure. Now, it may be a different way of doing it, but the concepts and ideas are the same. So when it comes to that, what you have to understand is that if you're going the AWS route, then you learn the AWS platform. If you're going the Azure route, you learn the Azure platform, and then learn how to create VPNs from the cloud into your on-premise, etc.
Okay. Yeah, and um, so yeah, I mean, it's essentially just learning the different platforms, right? So,
Right.
because I took an AWS course, but it was mainly on just how to set up the the buckets and all that stuff. I didn't go
Yeah.
any further into that. So, and I also do a lot of stuff on Google Cloud's platform. So I kind of
Okay.
like theirs or whatever. But yeah, thanks for that though.
Oh, no
Um,
problem.
let me see. We kind of breezed through all the questions, that I had. So, like I said, if anybody has any questions for you, let me see. Um, oh, here we go. What are the most important soft skills in your work?
The, there's several. So when we talk about soft skills, communicating with people and being able to effectively listen, those active listening skills. So when you're working with a customer, for instance, and they're telling you the network's down, don't assume that you know the answer. Actually listen to the problem that the customer is telling you they have, because they may be saying the network is down, but their computer may be turned off. You know what I mean? So actually listen
Mm,
and walk through, and don't assume that you know the answer immediately. Follow up. If you work with a customer and you resolve an issue, follow up, make sure it's good to go. Being able to communicate with your manager. How does your manager want you to communicate with them? Because some managers want to get on the phone or hop in a meeting, while other managers want to see it. So you had to be able to email effectively the information that they're requesting. But along with that, you have to understand how they communicate through email, because if you write passively, they're not really going to understand the communication flow that you're sending them. So
mm,
make sure that you evaluate that, the way they write to you, examine their writing style, and kind of mimic their writing style when you communicate with them. Um, Public speaking. Sometimes you may have to present different topics and solutions in an organization. So getting used to being in front of the camera and speaking properly. I mean, like when I first got into IT and joined the military, I had a big problem saying the N word. You know what I mean? Like that was in my language because that's where I'm from. And I
mm,
had to learn how to eliminate that. That's something a lot of people don't talk about. But when you're in business, there's a certain lingo that you have to communicate. Like if you love to cuss, you got to kind of eliminate that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
exactly.
make sure that yeah.
No,
So
I get
those are just
exactly
some
what
of them.
yeah, I get exactly what you're saying because I had that problem as well. You know, cursing a lot because uh, I don't know. I mean, where I'm from, as well as the military, kind of brought it out of me a little more and everything. So you gotta understand how to, um, I don't know, change up the way you speak a little bit in order to, you know, deal or work correctly in these type of different environments. So I understand what you
Yeah, I,
mean.
I don't even think it's changing up, bro. I think it's
Yeah,
more so about um evaluating what serves you and what doesn't serve you.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Because if speaking a certain way hinders your success, I mean, you might as well just eliminate it from the way you communicate.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, people gonna say you changed, but you can be mad that I changed, or you could figure out why you haven't changed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
As in life, you gotta evolve. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You gotta improve and want to be a better person for yourself and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. And thank you, KeepItTechie IT support for the $5 super chat. I definitely appreciate it. It says keep doing these interviews. It helps everyone in the tech community, and that's, you know, why I do it. So I definitely appreciate you being here. And also go subscribe to KeepItTechie. He's another guy that I've been following for a while. He does great interviews helping people get certified. And he walks through the testing of, or the what you call it, the practice test, you know, and different questions on his live streams, and bring people up to actually allow them to answer questions, and, you know, talk with him to try to help people get into the IT field. So yeah, check his channel out as well. But
Salute to Kev Tech.
yeah. And I appreciate all you guys being here. Let me just do a quick shout outs. Thank you, Daniel Yates, David, and Mauricia, Holly, and Gerald Lead, Green Machine. Thank you for being here. Kenny Khan, Joe, Priest, and a couple other guys that were here earlier. Kenny Khan, Joe. Salute for you guys being here. Definitely appreciate it. And so if you guys have any other questions, you know, I don't want to hold you up, man. And I keep not wanting to mess up your name, man. I got
It's
an
all good,
accent,
man.
yeah, so it come out
it's,
wrong sometimes.
it's all
Hold
good.
on. Let me ask you this
It's all
then,
love.
for sure,
Yo,
for sure. Coles Tech asks, what are some tools that you use as a network engineer?
so tools that I use as a network engineer. Um, Honestly, it's simple. When it comes to being a network engineer, let's say I'm in a Cisco environment, knowing my show commands, being able to understand Wireshark, being able to know how to do a packet capture, whether it's on a router, whether it's on a firewall, whether it's on a Linux box, a TCP dump. Um, Understanding Telnet, the different responses from Telnets, the different responses from pings, the different responses from a trace route. Um, Understanding TCP handshakes, the three-way handshake, and what you will see in those TCP dumps. Um, that's the basic. Like I could go on and on when it comes to these technologies, but understanding TCP, UDP, knowing communication flows, being able to understand different types of circuits. Um, yeah, I could go on and on when it comes to troubleshooting because it's something I love.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, I love networking. I love it. Yeah,
Cool, cool. Now let me ask you this: as far as security on
yeah.
Cisco boxes, have you ever done STIGs or CIS on a Cisco box? Um,
No, no.
okay.
What's that? Can you break it down for
STIGs.
me?
Um, I don't know what the acronym actually means. It's something dealing with security, I know, and they do like yearly STIGs where they go through and check. Um, because I've done it, or I've had to do it on, or go through the process for SQL servers, and they basically just
Uh,
go through vulnerabilities
yeah,
and just make sure you have things in place to prevent.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Cisco Advanced Services, they offer that where they come into your network, they scan everything, and then they create a list of vulnerabilities that you have with the I say the critical, the high, the medium, and the low vulnerabilities and how to mitigate it. And so, yeah, I've done that before, and that's very common in production. That's extremely common because if there's like a vulnerability with Telnet and you have Telnet enabled on your system, or there's some type of vulnerability with your firewalls, you got to mitigate that. So yeah, I've done that before.
Okay. Okay. Now, um, what have you ran into any type of security incidents that have happened, and you've had to, I don't know, like mitigate? Because that question kind of brought that to my mind. Just
Yeah,
seeing if you experienced it.
I mean, you're in IT, you're gonna run into that, man. I've been
Yeah.
in there 20 years,
Yeah.
so yes, it's no fun. It's
Hmm.
no fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody running with their
yeah,
head like their head cut off.
yep, yep. But I mean, that's one of the main skills that you have to learn is how to listen. So even though they want you to react, you still have to understand what you're reacting to. So the network may be down, but what's changed? Because you may be reactive and go in and fixing something that doesn't need to be fixed. So understanding what's the actual issue, what's changed, yeah, understanding all that is very important. As a network engineer, system admin, desk side support, wherever you're at, being able to ask those questions and listen to the customer is important.
Okay. Yeah, and thanks, Professor Black Ops, Security Technical Implementation Guides. That's what STIGs is. And yeah, like I said, I
Yeah,
didn't know what the acronym meant. I just remember doing it, and they have a team that comes in every now and then that tests random servers, and I didn't know if they did that on the networking. I'm sure they do, but
yeah, they do. They do. Like I
yeah.
said, advanced services from Cisco will do that. So
Hmm. Yep. Now, Professor Black Ops also asks, can you elaborate on zero trust networks?
zero trust networks.
Is
Yeah, I'm not a security guy, but
okay, yeah,
yeah, security is my thing.
okay, yeah. Um, and let's see. Somebody asked a Linux question, and since you asked that question, let me show you a book that I use. Um, Merritt says, "Hello, can you please recommend any tech books about Linux networking?" Um, Now, this is one of the best Linux books you can get once you kind of have an understanding of Linux. It's basically a Linux pocket guide, and it's super small. It's only like what 200 and some pages. But this
Okay.
covers all the base commands for everything, so it could be networking and all that stuff. But do you have any add-on to that?
I need to buy that. Nah,
Okay,
I need to buy that myself. When it comes
okay,
to Linux,
hmm,
yeah,
yeah,
I
this
have a Safari book subscription, so if it's a
hmm,
question I have, I do that, or I just hunt it down using demand pages.
okay. Yeah,
And just
exactly. The man pages. Yep.
yeah, Stack Overflow is another good resource.
Mm-hmm.
Stack Overflow answers a lot of questions I have, and those different Linux blogs as well. So
Yeah, exactly. And drummer AB Way, he's asking me, but yeah, I'm currently working on the Linux Foundation Certified System Administrator cert. Even though I don't work with Linux day to day, I'm a SQL administrator, but this is something that I'm interested in, so I figured I'd just go on and work towards getting the cert. But um, right now, Red Hat is the standard, if that's what you're asking. The Linux Foundation cert is kind of new. It's only been out for, I would say, a couple years. So I would go for the Red Hat certified system administrator first. But it doesn't hurt to have that Linux Foundation cert, because Linux Foundation is starting to, get some weight, as far as um, how much the certifications, weigh, I guess, so to speak. It's still a certification. And then also another thing about the Linux Foundation cert, it's all performance based. So you're not, it's not just A B, the multiple choice questions. they actually give you a scenario for a server, and then you have to actually go in and build that server and configure it based on the requirements that they give you. So that's something I just wanted to add to that. But let me see if they got uh something for you. Let's see. Can you recommend any podcasts for networking? Uh
Yeah, so the main podcast I listen to is Packet Pushers. They
mhm.
have a lot of the advanced topics when it comes to networking. You may have to get in front of your organization and talk about a brand new technology, and a lot of times they'll cover those technologies. So Packet Pushers is the main one I listen to.
Okay. Now let me ask you this one as well. I got another question. Is 3-tier the normal Cisco setup for a company
So
slash web?
he's talking about like a three-legged firewall, where you have your external, your DMZ, and your internal network. So it all depends on the network. A lot of times you'll have more than just one zone. Like you may have multiple DMZs, you may have multiple internal networks. It all depends. So um, every environment is going to be different. And then from that, you're going to have multiple layers of firewalls. Just because you have one firewall maybe at your edge, going into your DMZ, you may have another firewall in between that. And then going into your internet, you may have firewalls. I mean, in between your internal, you may have a firewall in front of that. So I think that's what he was talking about as far as zero trust will be your internet. You would not trust your internet
Yeah.
connectivity at all. Anything coming from the internet, you won't trust it unless you're allowing I'm trying to think, port 8080 and 443 into your network to go to the DMZ or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Let me see. And thank you, Daniel Yates. I did not know that Linux Foundation is a accumulation of all the Linux companies, including Red Hat. I didn't know that, man. I appreciate you letting me know. Let me see. See anything else? So Sean King asked one more, and this will be the last question, guys. I'm gonna go on and shut it down. But how essential is it to build your own lab versus using a packet tracer, GS3?
it used to be real essential. I think for someone that's never seen a router, never seen a switch, it's important to
Yeah.
get those devices and lab them up to be able to understand how they respond when you plug cables in from a desktop to a router, from a desktop to a switch, and then from a switch to a router, and vice versa. And understanding how to create a broadcast storm and all of these different nuances of physical hardware. But honestly, most of the technologies that we work on today are virtual.
Yeah.
So actually paying all this money for this physical equipment isn't always necessary. And then it can be loud, it can get in the way.
Hmm.
Yeah. So not so much these days.
Yeah. So yeah, and I know they said that was the last one, but I'm gonna ask this last one for you. Do you work with software defined routers,
Not
aka
yet.
cloud routers? Okay.
Yeah. So not yet. SD-WAN and all of that. That's something I want. Um, it's happening soon.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I'll get a chance to, but not yet. And if you can get at the edge of what of those being rolled out now, you'll be in a great position because that is the future moving forward.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So, is there anything else you wanna, put out there, or shout out, or anything?
Yeah, it's a ton of people in the chat that I want to say thanks for coming over and I see y'all. Thank you. And most of all, I want to thank you for having me on your platform. It's an honor. Much love and much respect. I want to see you win
Appreciate
out
it.
here, and I'm gonna
Appreciate
look
it.
forward to seeing you growing, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah. And
Yes, sir.
one last thing I want to do, I'm gonna switch up the screen a little bit, but this is just to, show your channel. I know you can't see it, yeah, but hold up. But yeah, you guys go check out his channel. I built this scene or whatever in OBS just to show people his channel. So check him out, man. He got a lot of great videos on here. He's also on Twitter, like what he said earlier. Lab every day. That hashtag, is booming on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And it's like he said, it's almost like a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? People succeeding and trying to push forward in these different careers. So I definitely, want to shout him out and thank him again for coming on. So
Thanks, bro.
yeah. And can you hang on after this? I'm gonna go on run a little outro, and one
For
more
sure.
thing, Daniel Yates, thank you for the super chat. He says thanks for the stream, keep it up and keep it techie. Exactly, keep it techie. That's one of the things I'm trying to make that a hashtag, keep it
It is a
techie.
hashtag, bro. It is a hashtag. You already
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
You out here winning, man. You already know.
For sure. Hey, and y'all have a good one though, and peace.
Peace.